a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I thought about Zia's little shrine in the first gnome, all those pictures of her village and her family that she didn't remember. As she talked about getting exiled, she had the same expression on her face that she had worn then. Not regret or sadness, more like confusion, as if she herself couldn't figure out why she was rebelling or what the first gnome had meant to her. She'd said Iskandar was like her only family. Now she had no one. "You could come with us," I said.
Welcome to Of the Oldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as a godly parent.
Hi, I'm Raye, following the path of Geb.
I'm Charlie, following the path of Bast.
And I'm Ethan, following the path of Thoth.
Welcome back, Ethan!
It has been a minute since I have been here. The plot has happened since I have been here.
God, it sure has.
We figured this out, that it's been since before I moved.
Yep.
That we recorded.
Yeah.
Actually, wait,
Makes
I think
sense.
it was even like pre me going to D23.
I think the
Like-
last chapter I was on for was when you met Khufu.
It was We Meet the Monkey.
Oh my god, that was early days.
So Ethan, why don't you remind the folks who the fuck you are, because it's been a minute, your pronouns, what you do on the internet, and also tell us if you are a Sadie girly or a Carter girly, because this is
Okay.
our new sorting system.
That's so valid. I think you asked me this last time, but I'll reiterate happily. So my pronouns are he, him. I co-host Mysteries in the Machine with Charlie, because this is the only way they hang out with their friends, is they podcast with them.
This is true. Or D&D. Those are the
or
only two
D&D.
options.
This is correct. But if you want to go check that out, we 90% of the time have episodes on Mondays, wherever you get your podcasts. Talk about Scooby-Doo. It's a good, fun, gay time. And as an older brother, I am a Carter girly.
You
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
You're also a nerd, so.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on the book since it's been a minute? Like, do you?
Well, I
don't
am
know if
caught
you've
up
been
with
reading along.
OTEG, so I've been caught up with OTEG. The only way I've been keeping up is been listening with y'all.
Mm.
But it's been fun to revisit this. I do think that people underrate these books.
Agreed.
Right?
Because Percy Jackson is Rick Riordan's flagship series, and the love it received is rightfully deserved, but I guess I just kind of let this fall by the wayside. But as someone with mixed siblings, it's something that I think is valuable for them to see.
Absolutely. We've had some conversations about that. Like that was my first exposure to that idea, growing up the way that I did, and thinking
is-
about some of the more complicated stuff that can come with, mixed families.
Yeah, this is the only time Rick does a first-person perspective from mixed characters.
Mm-hmm.
There are, some third-person perspectives in Heroes,
Sure.
but otherwise he usually has first-person for his, white boys. Rick loves a white boy.
Well, you write what you know.
You write what you know.
It's true.
Because Rick trying to write a teenage girl or preteen girl,
It
it doesn't always work out.
It doesn't always. He's doing his best, I can tell. He's trying.
Because, I don't know if he knew any teenage girls, or, if he had a daughter that was a teenager at some point.
He does not
Who knows
have
how they
daughters. He has
act.
2 sons.
So he has no idea what's going on. Got it.
None whatsoever. Rick writes best when he is writing a white boy with daddy issues.
Write what
Makes
you
perfect
know.
sense why I love his books, then.
I'm looking at you, Tres Navarre.
Is this from Big Red Tequila? Because I've never
Yes.
read that.
Yes. His mystery book series is white boy with daddy issues.
Mhm.
So It's what he knows.
I mean, so is Percy.
Exactly. We're connecting the dots. Okay. How about Doughboy gives us a ride?
Yeah, yeah. I thought Doughboy was in this chapter a lot more. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
and yet
he exists.
The chapter title is very, very accurate. Doughboy is giving us a ride for basically the whole time.
This is true.
Yeah, though the fact that he went silent when he becomes part of the coat is something that made me a little bit sad.
Coats don't have mouths, though.
They don't. But Doughboy could speak telepathically, right? You never know.
Apparently he can't. So,
it makes me wonder about the personality of that other coat, knowing now that the coats have personalities.
Oh, I thought it was because Doughboy was now part of the coat that it did that.
Well, I mean, but
yeah,
to do this spell, you smash a Shabti, and so the other coat was presumably also a Shabti with a personality at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is sorry to derail us already, but this is making me think of like Doctor Strange and like the flying cape, and like how that clearly has a personality, you know?
Oh yeah, it absolutely does.
You know, clothing with personalities.
I think that we need to have, like, a magical construct, like, rights conversation with the house and every Egyptian magician, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's include
None
Riptide
of this
in
is
there.
exactly kosher.
Clearly, Riptide also deserves rights.
Right. It's like droids in Star Wars, right? Like, people don't want to give them rights, even though they're technically sentient.
Remember when they tried to get their own rights? Remember that?
Yeah,
I do remember that.
They made, like, a big joke about it, and it was, like, really uncomfortable for everyone.
Yep, it was real bad.
Yeah, as soon as one of them says we should have rights, you realize that they don't have rights and that it's a problem. Okay. So chapter, the things that occur within it. Carter smashes Doughboy and makes him into a driving coat. He seems to not be very happy about this, but you know, he's a magical construct slave, so that's where we're at. Sadie goes and takes a nap. Carter tells Zia she should join their team permanently. She's not very enthusiastic about it. Apparently, before some shit went down, Iskandar said he would take Zia somewhere safe, and may or may not have done that. Zia can't quite remember. Zia says that she can tell Carter Set's secret name. Carter deduces that this means that she's hosting a goddess. Zia does not seem so sure about all that. We bring back the Amos versus Desjardins thing again, but then Amos himself, speak of the devil, he shows up and is going to lead them into the coming storm. That's it. This chapter is one conversation between Carter and Zia.
I'm so sorry.
Are you feeling good about that, Ethan? It was like 5 pages.
I mean, it was short, and like the way I consumed this was I listened to an audiobook on YouTube that was uploaded 10 years ago, and the man who was reading, it sounded like he did it in one take on the shittiest mic he can find, did not edit it at all.
Love that. Love that for random guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Good job.
And he narrated the entire book.
Okay.
And there were ads. This man had enough views to get ads on videos that were like 3 minutes long.
It's such high effort piracy.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort, man. I feel like my go-to now is to Google search Red Pyramid PDF.
I mean, that's what I have in front of me right now.
Yeah.
If you guys wanted to do things more legally like me, you could use the Libby app and get it from your library on your phone.
I mean, I do in fact own the book itself.
Yes.
So like, when I do that, it's usually me going on the Internet Archive just so I can search in the document itself, because I do not have a search function for the paper.
Yeah, you're morally clear. I don't care.
I forgot Libby existed, to be honest with you.
No, that's acceptable too.
Because my library has its own app, so I was like, use this, I don't know.
I don't know, ma'am. I feel like the other appropriate chapter I could have gotten you on for was the next one, which is called Men Ask for Directions and Other Signs of the Apocalypse.
That's so valid, though.
That's fucking good.
But I was like, Doughboy! Let's talk about Doughboy again.
Yeah,
He's here
Well, sorry
for 2
about that.
seconds. I'm so sorry. Well,
Yep.
did we rate the title? Is it
I think
Yeah,
Ray said it was
yeah.
pretty accurate.
He's giving us a ride. He's doing that currently.
cool? Love that. He's an Uber driver now.
Before we get started, if I had a nickel for every time the main characters in a Rick Riordan novel take a truck to their final destination in the first book of the series, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Woo!
Did they take a truck? Who else took
They
a truck?
took
No,
the
they took a
zoo
truck to
truck
Vegas.
My brain was inserting the movie memory where they just had the truck that they got from Medusa's place the entire movie.
No, Charlie.
No.
I choose to forget about that.
Because I'm like, that's the only truck I remember from The Lightning Thief. What other truck are we talking about?
That was
Listen.
in the Percy Jackson TV show, which came out not even a year ago. Wait, a little over a year ago.
Get roasted,
It
Charlie.
was in fact over a year ago because Robert is doing
The
Percy
1 year
Jackson
ago.
1 year
Yeah.
later on
Yeah.
YouTube. So, okay. Y'all want to talk about a myth thing? Because I have like one more myth section before I go into no myth section for
Maybe
a while.
we'll find some more. Maybe we'll figure something out. But
It could
yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
It very well
you
could
never
happen.
know.
Yeah. Remember when we talked about Hammer Space?
I fucking loved when you guys did that, actually.
It's not mythology, but sometimes we can just talk about tropes. It's fine.
It's
actually.
fine, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's basically the same thing.
Yeah. It's just a modern
Yeah.
version of mythology.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Story patterns.
Anyway, in case you missed it,
But
Nephthys. Our girl, is she here? It's unclear. But we get to talk about her because I had nothing else and I haven't talked about her yet. So here she is. Okay, we have 2 different names for her. Nephthys is apparently her Greek form of her name. So we have another, Greek name, but her ancient Egyptian is Nebet-Het. That makes more sense to me, actually. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And her name is possibly means Lady of the House or Lady of the Temple. Okay. She's a lady, guys.
Yeah.
This is important.
Mhm.
Now, what she's the goddess of is very interesting. It doesn't necessarily say what she's the goddess of. It says what she's associated with, which is different. But she's associated with mourning, the night / darkness, service in temples, apparently, childbirth, the dead, protection, magic, health, embalming, and beer.
She sounds pretty cool.
Didn't they say she was a river goddess? Where I'm very confused by that.
I don't know.
Sometimes the wiki and other sources don't agree on everything. Not everything ends up on Wikipedia, unfortunately for us. I'm
Yeah,
sure Rick got that from somewhere.
I want to know
Probably.
where Rick got, like, she's a river goddess, actually. Yeah, Google is not agreeing with that. Google is like, no, she's a goddess of mourning and night and death and decay.
Mhm.
So what are you talking about? It's only the Riordan wiki that's like, she's actually a goddess of rivers.
I mean,
I think Rick did a thing.
I think Rick's taking like creative liberties because like Egyptians buried their dead on the west side of the river, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to cross a river to
Mhm.
get to the dead. I don't know.
I
That
can
may just
understand
be
that.
me conjecturing things.
That could be something. I'm not quite sure, but perhaps. So let's see. Her symbol is the Sacred Temple Enclosure, which could be why her like name and hieroglyphics kind of looks like a temple thing. As everybody else, her parents are Geb and Nut. Her siblings are the rest of the 5.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Her consort is either Set, Osiris, Horus, or Anubis? Question mark? At
Okay.
least
But
in movie-
he's also her son sometimes.
He's also her son. Also, sometimes Horus is her son? I'm confused.
No, this tracks with the way that Rick is doing their weird-ass family trees where it changes every time that they get new hosts. I'm
There is
fine
no
with this.
family tree. There is none. They all just kind of exist in the ether.
We are family with each other. What form that takes is up to y'all, I guess.
Apparently. I don't know, man. But okay, so like one of her main things is that she's like a protective goddess for like the dead, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very interesting. I'm like, does that technically mean that she's like a psychopomp? Like, does she lead people to the dead place or something else? Because like if she's a protector of the dead, I'm like, how does that work exactly? But
it kind of makes sense to me, as in like her symbols are like something that you would want around dead people, you know, like she keeps their spirits safe with like her energy.
I mean, I assume that's also why she's the mother of like Anubis and everything as well, is like, you know, she's the protector of the dead and everything. So we have to like associate her with a god of the death, you know.
Yeah, it also looks like she's like the primary deity associated with like funeral rites.
There you go.
Right.
Her and Isis specifically.
Yeah.
It's because they protected Osiris when he's a mummy. There you go. There you go.
So I was looking up this river thing still this whole time. And
oh, good.
AncientEgyptOnline.co.uk/Nephthys has one line that says that she was said to be the source of rain and the Nile, associating her with the river goddess Anuket. So one person said it one time at least.
A random website from the UK. Cool.
And Rick definitely got his information from the UK, clearly. So
I mean, that's where we started this whole thing, wasn't it?
They know everything about Egypt. Don't ask the Egyptians. Clearly, it's just the British people that know everything.
Because they have all the artifacts.
Sarcasm. Okay, there's a line here on the Wikipedia that's like, okay, she's the nurse of the pharaoh, cool, but also sometimes she is rather ferocious and dangerous, and she incinerates enemies of the pharaoh with her fiery breath.
Hell yeah, girl, get
this
it.
Has 2 citations, so I know they didn't make that shit up. I love that. Favorite fact. Nephthys of the fiery breath.
Love that for her.
Okay, so similar to Isis, she's got her kite form, or she's a lady with falcon wings. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, I did not know the Egyptian hawk is also one of her associations, because it has like piercing, mournful cries. You know, okay. I want to associate her actually with like, what's the word I'm looking for? What are they called? Banshees. There you go. Wailing women. You know anything about like the wailing women of like Celtic and Ireland and all of that stuff? Like,
I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's like that's the vibe I'm getting here. Because like it's literally mentioned like the Egyptian hawk thing is reminds them of the lamentations usually offered for the dead by wailing women. So like we got some more associations. They're protectors of the dead. They mourn, all of that shit. Yeah. Well, oh my goodness, what is her position in the pantheon?
I was just reading that, and it's very interesting because so it's saying that like it was assumed for a long time that she was married to Set, but that, you know, modern stuff, they're finding more and more ancient sources, and that's kind of calling it into question. And so what they're sort of thinking now is that she was associated with like a benevolent ruler Set, and that when Set and Horus were having their beef, she wasn't generally involved in that.
So she got a divorce.
When he became shitty.
You know, I don't blame her. That's what my mom did.
There we go.
Hell,
we support it.
Yes, we love you, divorce.
We support these modern women. I also feel like, I don't know if I saw it here, but like at one point I was looking up like Nephthys and Isis and like their associations and stuff. And I feel like I came across some like sapphic vibes.
Okay.
I don't know if that was like me extrapolating or if I found something somewhere else on the internet. But like there's just the two of them going off together. Like they're very heavily associated together.
Yeah.
And clearly the Egyptians, just like the Greeks, don't care if they are siblings.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to deities, all bets are off.
Yeah, does not
So-
matter. I do like how Egyptian mythology, sometimes people are like the same person and sometimes they're romantically involved, like the male and female counterparts of the same god. Has like Steven Universe fusion vibes where it's like, you know, maybe this is erotic for us in some kind of way.
Oh boy.
I never viewed Fusion Steven Universe as inherently sexual, but just like
It definitely gets used as like a metaphor for it though, but it's not supposed to be that literally.
yeah.
If you want to hear my thoughts on this situation, go listen to the bits where I talk about Steven Universe. And
It's
all
a
of
whole
that.
thing.
It's more
I've
complicated.
seen people being like freaks about it, where they're like, this is problematic because it's literally sex.
It's not sex.
No.
It's a metaphor for like sex and relationships and like first relationships and like sometimes first times having sex. It's a metaphor for the different relationships that people have. Like when it's Steven and Amethyst, it's a sibling bond, like very specifically. When it's Ruby and Sapphire, it is very much
romantic.
You know, romantic.
It is a deeply
and or sexual,
intimate act that requires trust and consent, and can be harmful if used in a coercive manner. And so you see where the metaphor comes from. This is not relevant. That was a little joke that I made. Where were we?
Neplis and Isis?
Yeah. I think they're kind of gay. That's just me.
Cool. Good for them.
Like, I'm only gonna ship it because they're goddesses and, like, all bets are off, but...
So,
know.
Charlie, does this mean you want Zia and Sadie to...
No. I feel like Sadie has also said that she's beautiful. So, actually, maybe.
Yeah, we sort of talked about that.
Sadie,
apparently,
bisexual queen?
There's festival songs of Isis and Nephthys are as rituals in Egyptian cult centers. So
interesting.
You know what? Maybe Nephthys divorced her husband because she was really interested in Isis. Okay.
Listen, some people don't figure that out until later in life, and that's fine.
Exactly. She was like, you know what? This guy is shitty, and I'm not even that into him. So, hey girl, what's up?
Yeah, okay, sorry. I just opened the page for the festival songs, and in the songs, you get two virgins, and they sing about how you kill Osiris and then reconstruct his body. And I think that could be, potentially like a threesome.
There you go. There you go.
I shouldn't say what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's up to you.
How explicit can I be on this show?
As much as you want. We put that tag on it, Busty.
Eiffel Tower, but it's Isis and Nephthys with Horus, with Osiris in the middle.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Listen. How many times have we talked about Nut being a top and Geb being a bottom? Okay?
Yeah.
This is quite true.
It's literally canon, okay?
Yeah.
Other things that I'm looking at here on the Nephthys page. Nephthys of the Bed of Life. Very interesting. That's specifically for the embalming table, but my brain is just like, okay, all right.
Bed of Life does not sound inherently funerary to me.
No.
Are you speaking of the French Little Death, perhaps?
Okay. Specifically, I didn't get into it when I was talking, like when I started this, but when it says she's associated with service, specifically in temples, my brain was just like, oh, we're talking about those, right?
We could be.
Are we not? My brain is forgetting the word, but you know what I mean. The lady in the temple who sleeps with everybody, but it's like a religious experience.
Yeah.
It's very popular in Mesopotamia and stuff, so,
Who knows?
Maybe that happened in Egypt as well. I'm not sure. But Nephthys, she seems pretty cool. Wait, what am I looking at now?
Charlie, what did you find?
Oh, it's stuff about said Nephthys. I don't like this part.
Oh no.
Okay.
What is it?
It seemed like some sexual assault shit.
No!
So... That's what it seems like.
Well, no wonder she divorced his ass.
Yeah, so... Okay. Did we talk about Set consuming the Eye of Horus? I don't remember that, but apparently he does. He's
I think it came up.
intoxicated by it. He tries to anally penetrate Nephthys. So we're doing some butt stuff.
Non-consensually, I would assume.
Possibly?
That seems like something that they would not be about, knowing that, like, you're not supposed to get seed in places it's not supposed to be.
Yeah. And, like, I guess this is right before he's discovered by the gods and accused of murdering Osiris. So wait, is he caught mid-butt fucking? And they're like, hey, you murdered your brother. Oops.
Go to jail.
Wait, we didn't mean to walk in on this. That's what I'm getting from this sentence.
Yikes.
And then he's like, the gods are trying to separate me from my wife.
Oh no.
Actually.
Oh
also,
God, bro.
He's calling his wife a female donkey.
Oh.
He grabs her by the tail and penetrates her.
Oh no.
Because she rightfully belongs to him. I don't like this.
No.
This is not it for me.
Where are you seeing this?
Mythology and position in the pantheon.
Oh, boy.
It's like right underneath the picture.
Oh boy. That's
of her on the coffin. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. That's terrible. There's a
I don't like
citation
it.
here. Oh god.
There's at least one citation, so there you go. I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, there's like a lot to say about Set and how he's associated with like evil stuff and also gay shit. He's literally our first gay coded villain, I think, in existence. He's the originator of gay coded villainy. So
is Set camp. This is a conversation that needs to be had.
If he is camp, he's problematic camp.
He's like
Jafar coded,
flaming?
sort of thing.
Look at him. He's
the
flaming.
definition of a flaming homosexual. Is that what you're saying here, Charlie?
Yeah. They call him a fiery guy multiple times in this book, okay?
Because it's literal, but yes.
But also, seeing what he is like in mythology, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, building a whole pyramid, very extra.
No, that's very true also. Yeah.
But yeah, I see him as Jafar mustache twirly.
All right.
Except
see, I pictured him looking like the hot priest from The Mummy, the bald guy.
I need to relook this guy up. Let's see. Hot priest from The Mummy.
The bald guy, the villain, The Mummy.
Oh, you mean just The Mummy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can buy that. Yeah, but like red.
Yeah.
For some reason, his skin is just red.
Unclear.
That's just what it is. Okay. We need to get into Nephthys as a beer goddess also.
Yes.
to recover. Okay, does this have anything to do with like the death associations?
It doesn't appear to be, because it looks like
mandates the liberal consumption of beer. We love it.
She uses her powers so that the pharaoh can have joy with no hangover. Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So what this is saying to me is Nephthys is a sorority gal.
Also, Nephthys receives, like, beer offerings, so my brain is like, pouring a cold one out.
Pour a cold one out for Nephthys.
For the girl. Like, that's what's happening here, okay?
Okay, so my guess that I see no basis for, I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. Beer is a fermented drink. You would ferment it in, barrels, jars, sort of like where you put all the organs that Nephthys' symbol would be on. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Interesting.
Okay, I see that.
Also, listen, so like back to like the Anubis associations as well. Anubis in our book is like, I love New Orleans because like they celebrate death. They don't just see it as like, a time of mourning, a time of sadness. And then we have Nephthys here who's like, here's my party associations with beer. And also she's a death goddess.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, you have to mourn the dead, but also you gotta party, right? You gotta celebrate them.
Anubis got it from his mother or his consort. I don't know.
No. I'm not going with that. It's Nephthys and Isis all the way, baby. Also, she associates with childbirth, as many do. Wait,
I thought
what's
that was
this
Isis's
about?
thing.
One of the goddesses who assists in childbirth. Like, there's many of them. Also, Tuaret does that, I think. So
Yeah, because I thought it was like Isis for birth and Nephthys for death, like two sides of the same coin.
I feel like they're a little bit interchangeable, though, is the thing about that.
The mythology tends to get wishy-washy when we go looking through our Egyptian
a lot
stuff.
of mythology does.
Like, there's something to say about when people, like, in modern times try to create, like, their own pantheons and mythos of gods, that they're like, oh, you gotta do it like this thing and this thing and this thing, but it's like, actual living mythologies are so much more wishy-washy with everything. It's not super set in stone, like, everything makes sense.
I just think for narrative purposes, they do that because it's easier.
Oh yeah, of course.
And we like categories. We like things to be clean.
Oh, yes. She's apparently the chief goddess of, which gnome is this? Gnome 7?
7, yeah.
She's the unique protectress of the Bennu. Remember we talked about that one? That's the birdie that's like
yeah.
but not.
Yep.
Birdie. Love it. Yeah, cool.
All right, ready for book time?
Let's talk about book. There's only like 5 pages. But
that's fine with me. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm GMing a game of Masks later, and I haven't done any prep.
Hey, guess what? I am DMing some Scooby D&Do later. So,
how's your prep situation?
You know, I'm at least partially prepped. I could use more prep.
Charlie, for the campaign that I'm DMing with you, I just have an outline.
Yes, but sir, I am making, like, mysteries every time. So I need to have a list of, like, people you're gonna meet. And, like, things that could be, you know, going on with them. And clues that you could potentially find. And, like, baddies that you could potentially fight. Like, there's more going on.
This is true.
I'm doing my best.
All right. Let's do this.
Doughboy is gonna give us a ride. Okay. In, like, only a few lines, Doughboy is killed.
He's fine, apparently. Carter's like, we need you to be a coat for a little while, implying he can become Doughboy again, even though Carter smashes and stomps on him. I don't know.
If you reshape the clay, it could work, right?
Maybe.
I don't know if I'd want to. I feel like he'd be, like, as a coat, he doesn't seem to be able to murder them the way he wants to when he's a Shabti. So I feel like,
but what's better for Doughboy, though?
Yeah.
I think the better thing is to peacefully let him go, and create a Shabti that does not want to murder them. Maybe
you can't. That's not how it works.
There's no guarantee that that's going to happen.
I don't think there's. I think it's more up to, like, 50-50 chance. Perhaps.
That's not what the Egyptian mythology has told me.
I don't think it's inherent. The actual mythology says that they're supposed to serve them.
And also that you don't make them complete so they don't murder you. They want to murder you.
Fine. What if I let them murder other people?
I don't think there's several problems with that.
Okay. So Doughboy's like, finally, it's been so stuffy in there. You're letting me out to play. And yeah, Carter's like, can you become a coat? And Doughboy's like, excuse me, I am the Lord of all knowledge. The mighty cuts off, broken, shattered, gone.
Deeply funny, actually. Like, the way that he just cuts him off and stomps on him in the first page. Wow.
Damn.
Rip, Doughboy. We're pouring one out for you with Nephthys.
He's a coat now. He's fine. He looks very indignant about the way that he has been treated, but he's gonna drive a lorry, as Sadie calls it, for them.
I mean, in theory, he flipped Carter off.
Yes, he did do that also.
Where did they get the coat? Let's see. Oh, okay, it was in Amos's supply locker. I was just like, where did they get the coat? Where did they get the car? I don't actually remember this information.
The truck was just outside the chili plant.
Okay,
Cool.
if this is one of Amos's coats, I imagine it's like a very nice, like, silk dress
absolutely.
coat.
This is a very nice, good coat.
Which is
It's-
also
it's
why it's
long.
long enough to reach the petals.
And now there's clay just smeared all over it.
I mean, maybe once you cast the spell, like, the clay isn't smeared on it like that, like, you know... I don't know how it works. Maybe it gets absorbed or something,
I don't
and it's
know.
a glowing coat or something going on here. I don't know, man. It's a coat now.
Mhm.
It's making rude gestures, or at least trying to, but it has no hands.
Fucked up, as usual. Sadie is leaving to take a nap. She's gonna let you two have some quality time, just you and your coat.
There's just a full-size bed in
Yeah,
this truck that
that's-
they got. That's very nice.
That's pretty common for trucks that do, like, cross-country shipments.
I was wondering.
Very nice.
It
My,
makes
uh,
sense, you know.
One of
Where
my
else you gonna
friend's
stay?
dads is a cross-country truck driver.
So Carter and Zia get to have some quality time. Love that for them. Them
Some very
and the
depressing
coat.
quality time. Where Zia
Just
is
them
like, yeah.
and the coat, because we need to have supervision.
This is our new adult
Leave room for
supervision. His
Doughboy.
name's Doughboy.
Yep. All right. So she's very upset.
Well, she's kind of blank. She's like not even like processing that her life has taken such a bad turn at this point. Carter's like, I guess you're gonna get in trouble, and she's like, yes. My staff will be broken. My name will be erased. I'll be cast into exile as long as I'm not killed in the first place. And it's like, oh girl.
Well, it's not great. This is what happens when you're in a cult, actually.
Yeah.
As we've been saying, the House of Life is just a cult. But
Oh god. And then the next paragraph is Carter remembering that like she had a little shrine to her family and she doesn't even remember them. And now the only other person she considered family is dead, and she has no cult and or community anymore. Zia!
child. She's just a little kid, okay? She is
Yeah.
just a kid.
She's
And
just a
life is a
girl.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Correct.
And life is a nightmare. It's very true.
And Carter's like, you could come with us. Carter, you guys are gonna have to be on the run. I mean, you've already been on the run forever. But, like,
Yeah.
you have to take Sadie with you also. Like, she's a handful.
Sadie's 2 handfuls and almost an armful, really.
Zia could help though. See, I don't, she is not really processing right now, but at the same time, like, where else are you gonna go, girl? Like, I understand that being with fugitives is a little worse than being exiled, but like, it's at least one person in the world who cares about you.
Also, Carter's being a simp in this chapter.
No, he
Okay.
is.
Such a fucking simp.
Their shoulders are touching, and he can smell her perfume.
She
And
has
there's,
a
like-
chili in her hair.
Yeah. And it makes her look cuter.
Yeah, okay, Carter.
Simp. Oh my goodness. So yeah, their lives are gonna suck, basically, is the entire conversation here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But perhaps Iskander saw this coming. You know, he spoke to Zia privately after the British Museum and said she was in danger and that he was gonna take her somewhere safe, but she doesn't remember after that.
Yeah.
Because then she was sent to New York to find them. So,
So, as a person who didn't remember what was going on in this book, this was the moment where I figured it out, as long as this is what's actually going on and it isn't another red herring. I was like,
think
oh
I
shit,
also-
I know what that means.
I think I also know what happened, but we'll see.
we shall see. Maybe there's a reason a certain character was brought into this chapter before we had this conversation. Maybe.
Interesting.
Just my thoughts. And so Carter's trying to understand what's happening here. Maybe he's like, maybe Iskander, like, thought that Desjardins, sorry, I forgot his correct name. It's Michel. We're calling him Michel now, because that's his first name.
Okay. I forgot. He's almost exclusively referred to as Desjardins, so...
I know, but we learned his first name, so I'm like, oh, you're right. We can just call him Michel. So Carter's like, maybe Iskander saw that Michel was taken over by Set. Haha, and he's trying to protect Zia from that. or something?
We skipped the secret name thing. She knows Set's secret name and is trying to tell it to Carter so that he can use it because it's his destiny.
Yeah. And Carter's like, wait, how do you know you need that? Like, well, yeah, you stole Michelle's book, so like obviously you this is what you need. Like, I know the
he explains that you can't use it because you don't have it. But I do for some mysterious reason.
She can't explain it. And then Carter's like, I got it. We didn't know where Nephthys was. It's you. It's always been you. You were there at the British Museum, obviously. And Zia's like, the house would have figured it out. I've been there for longer than you. Like, they would have known immediately.
And yet, you know, there's a goddess who is somewhere far away, dormant for some reason. So,
Interesting.
It's unclear what is happening. At least to Carter.
Yeah.
And to Zia.
And so then we continue the argument of like, who is hosting Set? Is it Amos? Is it Michelle? Who is it? Who could this be? It's like, remember, we're not supposed to trust Amos, okay? But also, it could always be Michelle, because, you know, like, if Set's controlling him, maybe he would leave Nephthys alone. Would he leave Nephthys alone, though?
No,
would
he wouldn't.
Exactly. So, also, specifically, Zia knows that she can't use Set's secret name herself. It has to be Carter or Sadie, the blood of the pharaohs.
Okay, I take issue with this. Zia knows the secret name. She could use it, but she's not doing it because someone or something is telling her not to.
It's not my role to play. Some fake
That's
bullshit.
the most arbitrary reason to not do anything.
I will say, I do think it does have to be either Horus or Isis. I don't know why they're specifically saying Blood of the Pharaohs, but I think it needs to be Horus or Isis because, like, they're the ones who defeat Set. It's not Nephthys. It's not random magician number 5.
I have always said, though, like, that I enjoy stories about characters who fight fate more rather than, you know, having to work within it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, in the story about like them defeating Set, do they defeat Set this way? No. So technically they're doing it a different way.
But,
you know,
just saying, like, it's not my place to do this because that's not what, like, fate decrees for me. It feels bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad in the story, but it's not my preferred thing.
I think there's reasons why it cannot be Zia specifically. But hey, Amos is here. We have new adult supervision, actually. He's back, and he tried to distract Sekhmet for 11 seconds.
Great job.
I mean,
didn't really work.
It's an interesting scene because the truck slows down because he is just standing there in front of the truck out in the rain, you know? And he gestures to like this huge, awful storm that's coming and he says, "It's gathering. Shall we go into it?"
I don't like that.
We gotta drive into the chaos magic, okay?
I had a phase as a child where I wanted to be a storm chaser and go after like tornadoes and shit.
Okay, Raye, you're not gonna believe this. My same friend whose dad is a cross-country truck driver.
Yeah.
He used to be an amateur storm chaser.
Oh my god.
He'd drive out to the middle of nowhere in Kansas to track down tornadoes and report on them to the local radio station.
That's fucking amazing.
Insanity.
His
Truly.
car was even modified to have like long distance communication and stuff like that. So
I am in awe of people like that. Just the dedication. Wow.
You ever seen, like, I don't remember what it's called, but storm chasers use it. It's like a fucking tank, right? It's like they're really low to the ground and like really, really heavy.
Right.
I don't know what the name of it is though.
Me neither, but I have seen one before. Not in real life, but you know.
Charlie, do you
but
know
it
what I'm
makes
talking
sense
about?
because if you
No
can't
idea.
get any wind underneath, you can't get any lift, and then, you know, hopefully you won't, you know,
Get sucked up into a tornado and die.
or even just, you know, tipped over. It's all bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was a chapter, y'all. We did it.
It's done.
Ethan, where can the
Yes.
people find you? on the
you
interwebs.
You can find me on Instagram at ethan.t.hulen and on Blue Sky at ethulen.does.chat. I put stuff on there occasionally. You can find Charlie and I's podcast at Mysteries in the Machine Pod on Instagram. Think about making a Blue Sky for it and doing Scooby-Doo shit posts.
Do it. Also, we're on Tumblr.
Yes, we are. Charlie runs that. I have nothing to do with it.
No, we need to get Ethan on Tumblr. This is the whole goal. Getting Ethan on Tumblr.
Okay, but other than that, you can find Mysteries in the Machine wherever pods are cast. As of recording this, we just finished recording all of our episodes on the new Scooby-Doo movies, and we'll be starting the Scooby-Doo show very shortly.
Yeah, I don't remember when that's supposed to be. Oh, that's supposed to be in like May, June-ish.
Cool.
Yeah, good shit. Well, my friends, do we have media plugs? What medias have we been consuming?
Okay.
Ooh.
Charlie?
Yes.
I recently, I guess it wasn't just me that persuaded you to do this, but several people persuaded you to listen to Epic the Musical.
Oh,
I am one of them.
Are you gonna commandeer my plug? Are you taking over my plug and saying I must plug this thing?
No. Because of that, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Good.
I've been considering that also, just because I'm like, I want a new game. Sometimes you get that feel when you're like, man, I want a new game.
Yeah.
Don't you just love when you get to start a brand new game and you're like, wow, wild.
Good shit.
Getting into
Kelly and I have been playing it and taking turns.
Aw.
Yeah. We both have our own saves. Like, her sister has played through the whole game and she really liked it. So that's another reason that I bought it. So
good shit. Well, Ethan has commandeered my plug. So
no,
guess
I
what?
didn't.
Guess what? I finally
You did it! I didn't know. I'm so excited.
Watched all the animatics in order.
Well, all is a big
Epic.
word. I'm assuming you watched, like, the common
Like,
playlist. Yeah.
They watched a playlist.
I watched the playlist. You know, like the thing in order of like so I know all the songs. There's so many things. There's so many things. I already
how
seen
was it?
So much. It's good. It's interesting. I finally understood some references that I've seen in like reels and TikToks before.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Because I was like, oh, that's where the you are Athena, that part. I remember that part.
That's how I first heard about Epic. Was I heard that sound on TikTok a lot.
Because I see that all the time with like Annabeth cosplayers. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
I do not blame them for that at all.
Also, I think I heard like most of the song Dangerous in like some form of rail. And I was like, why do I know this song?
I mean, it's a good one.
Okay. Charlie, I have to know, which song was your favorite, if you have one?
I'm still processing, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to listen to them all again so that I can like
so there are a lot of like,
them?
you know, like
Sure.
sort of cameo character voices like Hermes and like, do you have a favorite one of those or just like people who stand out?
I mean, Hermes was great.
Yeah.
You gotta love Hermes. You know what? My thing about this is that I really like how it was adapted.
Okay.
Like, I feel like people could complain like, oh my god, it's not like accurate to the Odyssey. Like, I could complain about that. But actually, I think that the way it was adapted into this story makes sense. For
It definitely
what
is an original story, and it's not using like Greek like morals and ethics. You know, a lot of that stuff has been updated for modern sensibilities.
Yes.
But like the way they like used that concept and like developed it around that and made like a new character arc for Odysseus.
Yeah, because technically it wasn't Odysseus that dropped Prince Hector's son off of the wall in Troy.
Sometimes it was.
Right. That's, I've been watching, like, one person who's very mythology-oriented go through it, and that's, like, the take that she had.
That's something that he sometimes does.
Okay,
so it does really depend.
Kelly is an English, she has an English degree, and, like, she's read the Odyssey, she read the Odyssey 3 different times. So, and she's, like, studied it pretty thoroughly, like, from a literary standpoint, so she's been, like, saying, like, oh, yeah, I understand why they did it, but technically that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
In one version, he's the one who does it, but also usually it is Achilles' son. That's what she told me. I was like, who's the one who does it? That's right, it's Neoptolemus. I should have remembered that because at one point I had to write a story about Neoptolemus for a classics course. But anyway, so like the Odyssey, it starts in different places. Like we're trying to tell the story of Odysseus and like how a man is like changed in epic.
Yeah.
And you know, like what war does to somebody, which is like honestly, that's what the Iliad and the Odyssey are already about, is like what war does. And it's honestly very anti-war anyway. So like bringing that into epic makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But like they took away the Odyssey's frame stories, which, you know, makes it a lot easier to consume actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the Odyssey without the Iliad, like, it's, I don't know. It's in some ways doing it a service and a disservice. Because, like, you don't really need the context for the Trojan War to understand the Odyssey, but...
No, you don't. If you know that, like, there was a war, and Odysseus was brought into this war, like, against his will, technically...
Yeah.
Then you have the context. That's all you need, really. And he committed war crimes. But like, I guess the only thing I feel like is a little bit interesting is that Odysseus is actually a little shit in mythology. And they were like, we're gonna make him sweet perfect boy, actually. So he never did no wrong until he did these war crimes this one time. And I'm like,
I was going to say, he slaughtered a bunch of Trojans, he dropped a baby off of a wall, he murdered a bunch of sirens, like...
The great-grandson of Hermes, liar, trickster, thief man, who made the Trojan horse.
Right, which is generally actually not thought to be like a very good move. That's not honorable. It's sneaky as shit.
No,
it is the most sneaky shit.
Well, and like within Epic, I think Odysseus links it back to like doing the Trojan horse is like, this is where things started to go wrong for me.
That makes sense.
Well, is the song just called Monster? I think it is. The end of act song.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
He compares that act to all of the monstrous things that have happened to him since then. You know, he's like, Polyphemus killing my men is basically the same thing as me doing the Trojan horse and killing sleeping people.
Yep, or like Circe turning men into pigs, or Poseidon wiping out almost an entire fleet. Like...
Yeah, but I do also really love the relationships. Like, we have like Odysseus and Athena really extrapolated upon, and Odie and Penelope. Okay, listen.
Okay, some people ship Odysseus and Polites in Epic.
I guess that I have sort of seen that, and also Eurylochus.
Yeah.
I see it, but also I'm kind of like, they are like siblings to me, like the three of them.
Sure.
The childhood friend of it all.
Also interesting how they're like, actually, Odysseus did not sleep with anybody.
Yeah,
and
that was a change I didn't really like that they made.
Okay, Odysseus and Penelope, they're in an open relationship. They're each other's true love, but also they can do whatever the fuck they want. That's my take. So...
Because, like, there's no way he didn't sleep with at least Calypso. There's no way
I was
going to
say
happened.
At least Circe.
The Calypso thing, apparently, I have heard this recently.
Controversial.
Like, in
takes.
the mythology, it is non-consensual. Like, she takes him to bed, and he is, like, crying.
Okay.
Like...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kept captive there for like years and years, and he does not want to be there.
Yeah.
So Calypso, they censor it a little bit. They're like, oh, she just like is there and wants someone. She wants somebody because she's lonely, and it's very much the Rick Riordan take of it, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Which,
I mean, like, I don't know, because like I don't think when Jorge was writing it, he made it specifically for kids to enjoy, because there's death, there's
the thing
at
with
least
the
sexual
suitors.
Implications.
There's the literal song where it's like, hey, we're gonna tie down Penelope and we're also gonna kill her son.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yes.
Like,
so no, it's not like for like younger sensibilities that it's been simplified like that. It's for modern sensibilities. It's saying, I don't think that you will think that Odysseus is a good person who loves his wife if he cheats on her.
But the whole thing of Epic...
If Calypso was...
He wants us to sympathize with Calypso also, though, like, as a character. Yeah. And you couldn't do that if that was the situation, too. A lot of people still don't. I've seen, like, the discourse in the YouTube comments.
I feel like we could have brought, like, a, like, Calypso comparing her to the suitors kind of thing instead into that.
I mean, like, but I think, like, for Odysseus's character arc specifically, it's him... is essentially descending into madness, and then he releases all of that on the suitors, because he's been resisting, like, fully killing anyone who opposes him outside of the war, obviously, for pretty much the whole story.
The way that his crew is like, hey, you're not gonna have Zeus kill us, right? Right? Bro, you just fully betrayed him.
Yeah.
I don't fault him for letting you die.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But I also don't fault them for being like, we're hangry, actually. Please let us eat. I don't fault either one of them.
No.
Because they're all insane.
Okay, this is going on quite a while.
Anyway,
we'll have
bonus episode for the future.
Bonus episode on Epic.
Yes,
we definitely need to.
For sure.
But, after we do some more Egyptian things, because we have to cover Prince of Egypt. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely do.
I had a different plug, but now I'm just gonna say MadNBooks. It's Mad, the letter N, books on YouTube. There's a ton of people doing epic reactions, but she is, like, related to a ton of mythology scholars, and she is talking about, like, what all of the references are. She's saying things that I never got, and she's also talking about, like, the Greek cultural context of, like, why things happened originally the way that they did. Like, the concept of Xenia and how that is the mark of, like, being civilized, and how Odysseus in the original story does and does not break Xenia, and, like, how that affects the morals of the characters. It's super interesting. She just finished Act 1, so if that's something that you would want, if you are interested in epic and, like, digging a little deeper into that is a person.
Or if you want just a silly, goofy time, you can watch Danny Mata react to it like I've been doing.
All right. How about you release us from this mortal coil, Charlie?
Yeah, you know what? I guess I freaking will. I mean, I'm just gonna send Zeus after you guys.
Shit, fuck.
No! You have betrayed me. You commandeered my plug, Ethan. So...
Sorry. I mutinied against your ass, Charlie.
God damn it, I have to plug the anime next time. So, get the fuck out of my house of life. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Good.
Of the Eldest Gods would like to thank its $10 and up patrons. This means you're either in the Savior of Olympus tier or the God Complex tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. Thank you all so much for your support, especially Matt, our God Complex patron.
You can follow this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send us a message through the Duat to oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about the Riordanverse or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology, no promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. If you want to hear more from me, Raye, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast's Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with the meme maker Robert called The Bits, where we talk about the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. I also co-host a non-network podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo. Our music was created and produced by Isabel Strauss-Riggs. You can find Isabel at Kane I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel, Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing the Kane Chronicles. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here! Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
We in it to win it. I guess. I don't know, man. I'm just here. I woke up an hour ago.
Valid.
I did not want to get out of bed. I did
Good.
eat some breakfast. I ate some garlic parm bites from Domino's, because that's what I do. Is I get those and then I save them and then I have them as breakfast.
Are you someone that also likes cold pizza?
No, I heat these things up. I heated them up in the microwave.
Thank God you were correct.
Fun fact, yesterday, I almost had a grease fire because of them in the microwave.
Oh my god!
Charlie!
It's fine. Everything is fine. And then I was like 5 minutes late to work because of that. Because I had to be like, where is my smoke alarm? I need to turn it off.
Oh shit.
It's fine. It's just smoke. The window is open. Leave me alone.
You
Oh my God.
are such a little food gremlin.
Thank you. It's called being neurodivergent.
Hell yeah, brother.
Deus Ex Media.